Welcome to Women at Halftime podcast, but not just for women, for you men too. If you're at mid-career or the halftime of life, our inspirational topics are not only fun, but also meant to help you maximize and write your next chapter. Right here with me, Deborah Johnson. Well, hello, this is Deborah Johnson with you today on a great subject, constructing meaningful work. I really wanted to talk about this subject a little bit. Before I dig into that, I want to remind you of what our focus is there with our Women at Halftime podcast. I usually speak to those who are at mid-career at the halftime of life, although it's kind of far-reaching with some of the messages. But I try to approach subjects that will be especially meaningful to you at this stage of your life. It can be personally or it can be professionally. And so this is one of those subjects that is very relevant, is that meaningful work. And to remind you that I have a couple products that I want to make sure that you are aware of. Our Stop Circling book, which is my latest book, wonderful little book. It has a workbook right inside of it. It's a wonderful resource for you. The Summit, which is an allegory, great little book as well. And that it's a story of really triumph, of starting out as, wondering if you can even climb your summit. And then, of course, there's Women at Halftime, and I have several others. This one talks about the journey to Hero Mountain as well. So great resources for you to pursue. So I hope you take advantage of some of those, and that you also get on our newsletter, goalsforyourlife.com/newsletter. And I don't do a lot of advertising or sponsorships on these podcasts. So I hope you are taking advantage of some of our other offers and some of our free downloads as well. So let's get into this subject, constructing meaningful work. Well, at mid-career, the halftime of life, many start thinking about constructing meaningful work that provides a sense of purpose, fulfillment, significance, and satisfaction. And Napoleon Hill, 1883 to 1970, he was the author of Think and Grow Rich. And he said, the soul of man is embodied in his work. Work is good. French philosopher Albert Camus, 1913 to 1960, he said that without work, all life goes rotten. But when work is soulless, life stifles and dies. So when life got turned upside down with shutdowns, many started evaluating their work situation. And currently, it's become clear that crowded offices won't be coming back anytime soon, even though there are some now demanding workers to return to the office. According to WFH Research, a data collection project, 6 times more work was happening remotely in January 2023 than in January 2019. 6 times remote work. And the article in Forbes entitled Top 30 Companies for Remote Jobs in 2023, it confirms the popularity of work from anywhere jobs. However, the truly location-independent work is not as common. As many remote jobs, they have geographic requirements. FlexJobs lists 100 companies to watch for in pursuing those remote jobs. Now, even though working from anywhere, it sounds ideal with its flexibility, meaningful work takes on many forms and doesn't always include remote work or even branching out on an entrepreneurial venture. So here are 5 characteristics that I'm going to cover included in meaningful work in this podcast. And make sure you access the article that goes with this. I'm putting a lot of extra links in the article. I put it right in for this particular podcast. Number 1, work that provides autonomy and creativity. The freedom to follow one's heart doesn't always produce prosperity and success. And to truly have freedom is also to have structure. Creativity also demands structure. Most songs, books, or proposals, they don't just write themselves, regardless of what may be touted by those who have penned a project with this flash of inspiration. For example, each one of the 32 Beethoven sonatas, he wrote those, well, he lived between 1795 and 1822 and wrote those between then. They contain a theme that is repeated throughout the score. And there's a predictable structure among all of the sonatas. Many other music compositions, they also have a clear structure throughout. We hear this in pop songs. They repeat the chorus. There's a structure. Well, I've known those who have made this huge life change, changing their location and their job, thinking they were buying more freedom. But months later, they found themselves not accomplishing any of their goals. And they often ended up returning to a situation similar to what they left behind. It's interesting how many times this has happened. I've watched it. And this is why I encourage those who are thinking about expanding into a different area to start with a side business, taking those small little steps to test the waters and grow that business before making a drastic change. And I have a wonderful webinar. It's free, side business webinar. Make sure that you click into the article on this. You will get the link to that. And this advice is especially relevant for those who want to start writing or pursuing their art. Oh, many of them, I'm going to start writing songs, or I'm going to start writing that book. Creating a schedule with regular time set aside to create will produce enough momentum to move forward. But you also may find you don't have the discipline to write regularly, and that's a good thing to find out. Find that out as a side business. Do not quit everything and all of a sudden find yourself stuck completely. Number 2, work that will inspire and educate. It became very apparent after the shutdowns that our education system is lacking in many areas. Parents found this. Reading and math skills are low and even non-existent in many areas, and no matter how affluent. Now, not everyone has the patience to listen to a child read or help an adult learner. But if this could be something that you could do, doing so could be tremendously rewarding and make a huge difference for our current and future generations. And a good place to start is with our own families or areas of influence. I give some of these things to some of my own family, our grandchildren, teaching them some music. Education does not consist of just book learning, but it's also experience, because experience stimulates the imagination. Trips to the zoo, to a museum, or even a farm are very inspiring and very educational. Hands-on learning is not only good for education, but good for the psyche and the mental health of both the teacher and the student. So this could be some very meaningful work, adding meaningful work to your life. Number 3, work that provides intellectual stimulation. A lifelong learner attitude will take us far in the process of developing meaningful work. Even if one stays at a current place of employment, there are ways to continue personal and professional development that keep our minds active and engaged. There are so many online learning opportunities to be found. There's just endless, that they're reasonable and they're accessible 24/7. A lot of people, they buy these though, and they don't continue. So I just urge you to check those out. In fact, we have some online learning opportunities. I will have the link in the article. When I was teaching at our local university, I applied for grant writing workshops as well as several grants. And those opportunities were provided because I pursued them. I also recently attended a day-long conference in a field that was outside my area of focus. It was free. But because I responded to an email I was admitted to go. I was a bit nervous as it centered mostly around technology, but I knew I would probably glean and learn something that I could apply to my work. And I was right. And I wasn't totally lost. I was able to follow right along and even do the online lab work. It was pretty extensive technically. I was able to walk away with a few more ideas, not even related to the conference, but that I felt could help my business. And it helped me add meaning even to my own work. 4, work that makes a difference. We touched this a tiny bit, maybe in the education, but you don't need to start or work in a nonprofit organization to make a difference. It's possible to engage in purposeful work in most any organization with the right focus. Thinking through and establishing core values is an important part of this process. Core values are the foundation of purposeful living and work. And for this reason, I provided an additional chapter in the appendix of my book, Stop Circling. You'll see me holding this up in the video because of their importance, core values, and a little exercise to go with it. Your core values determine the driving force of your life, and they should be unmovable principles that you stand for. And I encourage people to focus on 2 central areas, focusing on both faith and character. And many start thinking more about their purposeful living and core values when entering the second half of life, especially if they've worked hard at building a career and a business and they're ready for a change. Those with strong values find tremendous peace of mind, and that is worth so much. 5, work that connects with others. Remote work is not for everyone. The song made famous by Barbara Streisand says it all, that people need people. We do. Virtual meetings will continue. They are not going away anytime soon. They're never going away, I don't think. But also, flexible work schedules will be here. But many people enjoy interacting with others in a work environment. There's a certain amount of energy and that momentum that's created with easy access to coworkers and to team members. And when you don't have that for a period of time, you miss it. I did. I missed interacting with other people. I'm an introvert, but boy, I missed being around other people. A lot of people found they did. Google's Bayview office in California provides large areas where workers interact with each other. And there are 2 kitchens that serve 7 cafes. And they do have office partitions, but lots of open space. And it's worked well for creativity and communication, especially in a company like Google. And after multiple delays due to the shutdowns, Apple started bringing back employees to its Apple Park campus in May 2022 in Cupertino, California. And they saw the importance of connection with each other as well. Now, even though there's been layoffs and all of that, there's still a lot of people that are being brought together right now, especially in creative fields. They needed that interaction with each other. So let's talk about your plan. We've listed 5 characteristics here of meaningful work, but there are many more that you can define for your life and situation, I know. Work is good. It's a healthy part of living. And a feeling of accomplishment is just good for the soul. That feeling from work is even more pleasurable for those who have created significant and meaningful work. And it is work, though. It takes energy. But meaningful work doesn't have to be different than a present situation that you're in. It could be with making a slight change. And that work that seemed aimless and dull could turn into meaningful work. in the years ahead. And that's my wish for you. So click into the article that goes with this, because I'm adding some other resources as well for you to pursue. And especially if you're pursuing this in meaningful work. And I have so many programs. I have some online courses on this, a new way of doing business. I have the books and to help you construct meaningful work and making a difference at this point in your life. I mean, you don't have to make huge inroads as far as making a big splash. You could do little, it's all tiny little steps, but making that change to where you feel like you have meaningful work and that you're able to now start giving back more is a wonderful, wonderful feeling. That can come through your present job. Even people are working longer. And you may find that it's a good place for you to stay where you're at, but you can start a little something on the side, or you can expand in something that you are doing to really create even more of a meaningful work. So I hope you've enjoyed this today, at least to spur a little bit of your imagination. And I've found that there's going to be a lot of empty office space. People are still, they're wanting their freedom. They're wanting to work more remotely, but they will find interesting things to do with that office space, I am sure. And there's cycles that happen in history and in our country. So we'll see what's ahead. But as you evaluate your own life, there's a lot of options out there. And so pursue those. Take the time, sit down and take the time and figure out what is most meaningful to you, as well as something that will help you support your lifestyle and your responsibilities. That's important. You know, your business needs to make money. If you are a entrepreneur, it needs to be a business. That all comes together unless you're doing some extra volunteer. A lot of people have the freedom now to volunteer more of their time. It's a wonderful time to be able to do that. Wonderful time to have that flexibility. So I urge you to pursue some of that and just enjoy your life, enjoy this time of life. Thanks so much again for being with me. Make sure you're getting my newsletter, goalsforyourlife.com/newsletter. I'm going to say that again because I said it a little fast. goalsforyourlife.com/newsletter. You can also reach me at Deborah Johnson Speaker, easy. There's a sign up on there too for the newsletter if you need it. And DJ Works Music. And I'll look forward to being with you again next time. So bye-bye for now.
Thank you for joining us. It is because of our wonderful listeners like you that we keep going strong week after week. We'd love it if you'd share and follow us to not miss a single show and even write a review. You can also find all of our articles, products, and links at womenathalftime.com.